That's right, storm watch across the country. We had all 10 provinces under either watches or warnings for you this evening. Glad you could join us tonight. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. If you're checking in BC and you're in Vancouver, you're under a winter storm warning. Could get up to 2 to 4 centimeters of snow in Vancouver. Higher elevations seeing a lot more. The deep freeze in the prairies. And let's first focus on this. In Ontario, we've seen freezing rain warnings, and it's pushing into Quebec and Atlantic Canada for tonight. Now, today, there's that stormy weather brewing in Ontario, and it will slowly move in through the Atlantic regions overnight. Eventually, Newfoundland, you'll see it Sunday into Monday. So messy weather, and still messy across the west coast. And you have a story in the prairies as well. It's the deep freeze with extreme cold warnings in place from Alberta straight through to Manitoba. So freezing rain warnings have been dropping as the evening has been going on, but a few other areas have been added as well. Out of the warning at this point is London and Windsor. So too is Toronto, but still Orangeville up towards Barrie. A lot of ice accretion on the roads for tonight, and we do have a winter storm warning in place for Smith Falls over towards Cornwall and Ottawa. That doesn't mean you're not seeing the freezing rain. Winter storm warning means that you're seeing some strong winds as well as a mix of weather. So for you, it's going to be the freezing rain mixed in with strong winds, and then it changes over to snow. So a messy mix of everything. Here's the blue indicating snow. So north of Barrie, definitely into the snow, but that pink is popping up in the Toronto region still, London and Hamilton. So that is what we're experiencing now. That will change over to rain through the overnight. And as we look towards the west coast, things will be ramping up tonight. Not really picking up much on the radar at this point, but as the evening goes on, things will get a little bit more interesting on the west coast. So through to Sunday, we've got more snow returning to the Golden Horseshoe. That's because we're going to see this change over to rain, but then a real big cool down in temperatures. So flash freeze is possible on the roads tomorrow night. Toronto, Hamilton under 2 centimeters, but up towards Barrie, anything in that blue over towards Sault Ste. Marie seeing 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. And yes, in the white, you're seeing the most. So Ottawa, Montreal, you're included in that. But the good news is for overnight, we are going to see that change over to rain. Not as dangerous as freezing rain, but if you are concerned about freezing rain, note where the pink is. So that does include Cornwall, areas towards Ottawa, Montreal, eastern townships as well. So freezing rain is an issue tonight. So tomorrow morning, you're going to have to salt your sidewalk probably before you head outdoors. And these are the winter storm warnings we have in place in Quebec. It does include Montreal, and it also does include Fredericton at freezing rain warning at this point. That will really start to intensify early tomorrow morning. So this does first start as snow, and then we've got Fredericton, Woodstock over toward Edmundston with the potential of some freezing rain for you. In Halifax, you're in a rainfall warning. So a little bit of everything. There's that snow just starting to creep in close to New Brunswick, but it's really going to be while you're sleeping tonight when things start to get really heavy and intensify. So what we have is across Nova Scotia here, 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. We've got snow in New Brunswick as well, but for New Brunswick generally, this does change over to freezing rain, but it is warm enough that it will change over to rain in Nova Scotia. And we do have Halifax as well as Yarmouth included in a rainfall warning. So it is going to be messy and slushy and sloppy as you head out tomorrow afternoon. Well, speaking of messy, and this will be ongoing tonight as we follow a system pushing through the area. Another part of this the problem in BC tonight is we've got cold Arctic air funneling in. So that's going to be places that aren't usually used to seeing snow getting it tonight. So across the lower mainland, we've got a little bit of blue north of Vancouver at this point, but I think that's going to look a lot more impressive in the next couple of hours. For Vancouver, in a winter storm warning, potential for some snow in Vancouver, Metro Vancouver itself, but if you're in Abbotsford, Burnaby, Hope even, we could get up to 10 to 20 centimeters of snow on the high end. Stay with us. We'll get to Montreal, the eastern townships, and eventually Atlantic Canada. Now, overnight temperature-wise, Niagara Falls is 5 degrees. Cornwall is -3. Collingwood sitting at +2. So it is going to change over to rain in many areas this evening. Places like London, Barrie, Toronto, over towards Kingston. Anything in the green is rain. But yes, if you're going to be in the Peterborough region, Kawartha Lakes, Ottawa, Montreal, it is freezing rain tonight. So tomorrow morning, we could see 5 to 15 millimeters of ice build up on the roads. Now, Thunder Bay was included in a snowfall warning for tonight, likely getting up to 15 centimeters of snow, but still east of that, we've got that snowfall warning in place. And these are the warnings for either winter storm or freezing rain. But if you're in the winter storm warning, you're also seeing the potential for freezing rain. So do note that. Guelph, St. Catharines is included at this point, and over towards Kingston, Smith Falls. Cornwall, too, could see some freezing rain. And we've got Montreal and Drummondville also included. And for you in Atlantic Canada, Fredericton, Woodstock is included in that freezing rain, which will likely start overnight tonight. So it begins as snow in the Maritime provinces, but then it changes over to freezing rain for many. But if you're in Nova Scotia, like Yarmouth and Halifax, you're in a rainfall warning. So a bit of everything all at once. It's messy. Inverness County, a wind warning, gusts up to 140 kilometers an hour. And all the way up in the Northern Peninsula East, there is an extreme cold warning in place to boot. Now, overnight, Halifax, -11, feeling closer to -17. And these temperatures are why this system starts as snow for you in Atlantic Canada. But pretty soon it changes over to rain for Nova Scotia and then tracks into Newfoundland by the end of the week. Stay with us. Our Stormwatch coverage does continue. Likely going to pick up about 5 centimeters of snow tonight. Your high tomorrow, 2 degrees, but then you're back to seasonal on Monday. Here are the winter storm warnings we have in place. It does include Vancouver, Abbotsford, Hope, over towards Kelowna. So we're likely seeing snow tonight up to 20 centimeters in higher elevations, but Metro Vancouver, 2 to 4 centimeters for you. And we're already seeing rain in Vancouver at this point. With that cool down coming overnight, that's when we'll see the changeover to snow. Vancouver Island also in a winter storm warning, high to Guay as well. So it is cold and it is messy tonight. Through Sunday, if you're traveling through the Highway Mountain passes, anything highlighted in this light purple color, we'll be seeing up to 25 or 30 centimeters of snow. So fresh snow on the ground. Be careful while traveling. And Sunday morning in the west, Calgary's -24. -45 with the wind chill in Lloydminster. Now, we do have in southern Alberta a few extreme cold warnings in place, so that means frostbite is possible on exposed skin in under 10 minutes. Abbotsford will be -4 for your Sunday morning, so it is a chilly one. These are the extreme cold warnings from Alberta all the way to northwestern Ontario. In the worst case, we've got places like Churchill feeling closer to -50 tonight. So that is definitely dangerous if you're outdoors for too long. Sunday morning, here are your temperatures in the prairie provinces. The snow has moved out of the prairies, so it's just leaving behind that cold air for you. But 14 centimeters fell yesterday in the city of Winnipeg. Now, as we look ahead for the west for your Saturday here, you can see it's calm in the prairies, but just that Arctic high pressure in place. That storm system messy moving through BC. But then we see a warm up in your temperatures on Monday. So back to seasonal values, and that will be rain across the lower mainland and getting a nice little break for Tuesday into Wednesday. Victoria, 6 degrees on Sunday, but back to 10 on Tuesday. And Edmonton, you're still in the deep freeze for the next couple of days. -22 for the daytime high on Sunday. And that's without the wind chill. And speaking of, look how they spread over into Ontario. Northern Ontario colder than the south. In fact, the south tonight is changing over to rain as well as freezing rain, which is where we find Kasha in the middle of. Thanks, Kesha. Get inside and get warm. So as we see here, anything in green changing over to rain. We've had a lot of storm line calls tonight in Orangeville, in the Toronto region as well, saying they're seeing a few hours of freezing rain. So a switch over happens. But if you're going to be in the Ottawa Valley, Eastern Townships, or Montreal, it's remaining as freezing rain tonight. And snow in the northeast of Thunder Bay up to 15 centimeters before it tapers off. And these are the freezing rain warnings that extend into Kingston, over towards Cornwall and Ottawa. In Ottawa, you're in a winter storm warning. We're seeing snow right now, which could pile up to 15 centimeters and then change over to freezing rain. So that means messy weather tomorrow. And freezing rain in northern New Brunswick, that is going to remain as freezing rain for you tonight. Our Stormwatch coverage continues. Stay with us. And Abbotsford to more of a rain-snow mix. Now, taking a look at the radar returns, that's the green, that's the rain coming in. Vancouver, in and around the area, the blue is popping up, so that's indicative of the cold air in place. For Metro Vancouver itself, 2 to 4 centimeters of snow tonight, but if you're in higher elevations, even places like Abbotsford getting closer to 5, and higher elevations in the lower mainland, possibly 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. So we have Port Alberni included in a winter storm warning. This will begin as rain, but we could see a change over to some freezing rain in the internal part of the island for tonight. And then we've got Hope and Kelowna in that winter storm warning as well. So it's messy. These are the special weather statements for the Highway Mountain passes. If it's highlighted in purple, that's where we could get up to 25 centimeters of fresh snow tonight. So you know traveling through there will be quite slow. And into Sunday, anything in white seeing the most, 20 to 30 centimeters up to Terrace. And we even have you in blue here across the lower mainland. Thankfully, we change and get back to seasonal in terms of your temperatures by Monday. Now, for Alberta, we had a big snowstorm come through yesterday. Edmonton picked up 9 centimeters of snow. For Calgary, it was a bit less. But for this evening, we've got some upsloping that's creating a little bit more snowfall. So Calgary, it will be under 2 centimeters for you into Sunday. Crow's Nest Pass, a little bit more. Moving to Ontario, these are all the warnings in place for you. Freezing rain, Barrie, Orangeville, down towards St. Catharines. A few people calling our storm line tonight around Simcoe, Barrie, saying it's like a skating rink where they are. And we've had Kasia Badurka out in Orangeville. This evening, here she is with more. Thanks, Kasia. So freezing rain, anything in pink is our freezing rain. So the radar sort of has a tough time with freezing rain. So what we do see is London, Toronto, that patchy pink now extending into Kingston and Brockville. So you're going to be the next area that starts to see the freezing rain. Now, the problem with places like Pembroke over towards Ottawa and Brockville too is we've seen snow already beginning tonight. So Ottawa, you could get about 15 centimeters of snow on the ground and then get the freezing rain tonight. So that is going to be very messy conditions as you wake up tomorrow morning. Also in a freezing rain warning, Eastern Townships, Montreal for this evening, 5 to 15 millimeters of ice buildup on the roads. And yes, we're changing over to rain here in the green, but because temperatures are still cooling down overnight tonight, it still could be a little bit slick as you're walking on those sidewalks. Into Sunday, we get back into the blues here in the Golden Horseshoe. Why is that? Well, because we're going to see a rapid cool down in temperatures, and that means we could see snow again in Toronto under 2 centimeters. But yes, if you're in the white, Parry Sound over to Montreal, 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. And look what happens into Quebec. Winter storm warnings blanketing the province almost completely. And in New Brunswick, Fredericton, Woodstock included in a freezing rain warning. So that will start as snow for you tonight. Change over to freezing rain. In Nova Scotia, you're getting the green, so that's a rainfall warning. But it all starts to snow in the maritime provinces. Hasn't quite reached Fredericton at this point, but as you're sleeping tonight, we're going to see that snow again change over to freezing rain. Still have some sea effect for Corner Brook at this point. Overall, this is our snowfall totals, but then we've got more rain on the way. It is messy right across the country. We're going to keep you updated. What a messy way to start the first weekend of a brand new year. Snow, but as it hits concrete, it hits the streets, it hits poles, it then turns to ice. Glad you could join us tonight. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. And yes, we've written stormy here across Ontario, moving into Quebec tonight and eventually Atlantic Canada. For you, you'll also see freezing rain in places like Fredericton over towards Woodstock as well. For the next couple of days, we're looking at quite a change in temperatures. So for Ottawa, +5 for tomorrow, then down to -13 heading into Monday for that daytime high. Halifax will be looking at -10 for your daytime high after +7. So flash freeze on the roads will be possible. With more on the science behind that, here's Jacqueline Whittle. Boy, oh boy, so flash freeze possible Monday across parts of Quebec and Atlantic Canada. And we're going to be talking about wind chill values quite a bit in the east as well as the prairie provinces tonight. So take note at these numbers. If wind chills are -28 to -39, which we're seeing in the prairie provinces tonight, that's moderate. So 10 to 30 minutes of exposed skin, you can get frostbite. But in places like Churchill tonight, Churchill, Manitoba, we've got extreme, which is -50 with the wind chill. So 2 to 5 minutes could be frostbite on exposed skin. So be careful out there. Fredericton, around the freezing mark for your daytime high on Sunday. This means freezing rain. That's what that image is. So freezing rain for you, hours of it. Then by Monday, we're going to be +3. So a big warm up followed by that significant cool down. -17 the daytime high, feeling closer to -24. And we stay in cold air for the next few days. It doesn't show a trend of us warming up into next weekend. So 2015 is starting off with quite a bang. Tonight in Toronto, we had a freezing rain warning in effect for you. You've been dropped from the freezing rain warning, but a lot of people still saying on Twitter as they're walking around tonight, because it's still cold, a lot of it is icing over a little bit. So still a little bit slick. By tomorrow afternoon, +5. And then we're going to be -9 on Monday, -7 Tuesday, and -10 on Wednesday. With a little system coming through on Tuesday, it won't be as significant in terms of the snow we saw today, but it's a quick mover and snow nonetheless. For Regina, extreme cold warnings in place for southern Saskatchewan tonight. As you wake up tomorrow morning, it's going to feel like the -40s. And -26 for the daytime high. Usually you're closer to about -10 for the daytime high. And we don't see that number on this map at all. Now for Vancouver tonight, you're in a winter storm warning. 2 to 4 centimeters of snow tonight. You'll be 3 degrees. And BC, one of the only places that's going to warm up over the next couple of days. Yes, we're in Storm Watch here at the Weather Network, but where? There are so many warnings across the country to talk about. You don't see this every day. Glad you could join us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. So this big low pressure system prompting warnings in Ontario, Quebec, Atlantic Canada, and winter storm warnings across portions of BC, including Metro Vancouver, Howe Sound, and Vancouver Island. So a lot going on, and not leaving you out in the prairie provinces. You're in extreme cold warnings from Alberta to Manitoba. So every province under a watch or warning. Now, as we jump ahead to Sunday, we're going to see that frigid air still in place for the prairies, still messy in BC, and that system slowly tracking into Atlantic Canada. So anyone who's seeing active weather now still will get the lingering effect into tomorrow morning. Here's how it all breaks down. We've got freezing rain warnings in effect and winter storm warnings too. Barrie's included Orangeville and Guelph. Toronto was dropped earlier tonight, but over towards Ottawa, you've got snow right now as the radar returns is showing in blue. 15 centimeters of fresh snow tonight, followed by ice. Freezing rain as well, which is already sort of pushed into Brockville with that pink popping up on the radar returns. Now, in southern Ontario, we've had Kasia Badurka in Orangeville in the middle of all that freezing rain. Here she is with more. Thanks, Kasia. Get inside and get warm. As you can see here, anything in green, as Kasia mentioned, temperatures rising enough that it's going to be rain. But if you're in the pink, Kawartha Lakes, for example, Ottawa Valley, Eastern Townships, Montreal, that is changing over to rain tonight. So starting as snow for many, changing over to freezing rain. It's sort of not usually the way it goes. Usually it starts as freezing rain and goes over to snow this time of year. But we've got that warm front pushing through, causing something different to happen. Now, into Sunday, we're going to also see a rapid cool down as the day goes on. So we go down, we go up, and we go down again. So we've got Toronto, Hamilton, and London in the potential of seeing under 2 centimeters of snow with some lake effects setting up. Cottage country getting hit with a bit more. And Parry Sound towards Ottawa in the white, that is the most you're going to be shoveling. So as I mentioned, Ottawa, fresh snow tonight followed by freezing rain. Very tricky travel conditions for tomorrow. Quebec, we've got winter storm warnings in place for you. Montreal in that freezing rain. And New Brunswick, freezing rain in Fredericton as well as Woodstock. For Halifax, you're in a rainfall warning. Yarmouth as well, we do have a rainfall warning in place for you. So that's what the green means. Anything in yellow is our wind warning. So wreck house wind warnings in effect. Gusts could get over 100 kilometers an hour. Inverness County, gusts up to 140 kilometers an hour. So not only will we have the rain and the freezing rain, but it's going to be blowing all around. So this hasn't moved into New Brunswick quite yet. There's that blue showing the snow at this point in southern Quebec. For New Brunswick, you're really going to be sleeping through it and then wake up with the messy weather. So this is how much snow we're first getting. Fredericton, Moncton, 10 to 20 centimeters. Same story across Nova Scotia, but then the change over to freezing rain in New Brunswick, a line from Fredericton north, and then it's remaining as rain for Nova Scotia. Let's head to BC, where you also are under the gun, so to speak. We've got is not advised because it's going to look like that. And already seeing the rain start at Vancouver Airport. That will change over to a rain-snow mix tonight, as well as snow. For Metro Vancouver itself, 2 to 4 centimeters of snow for you, but Abbotsford, Burnaby could be 5 centimeters or more. And some freezing rain potentially in through the Vancouver Island. Storm watch coverage does continue. Stay with us. Oh, good advice, Nathan, and hopefully he gets more chicken soup to take care of that cold. Here's the pattern that's already setting up. Next week, we've got frigid air continuing in the prairie provinces, but it's going to inundate you in Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada, where we haven't seen the coldest temperatures of late. We're getting there next week. Let's take you to this image right here as it tracks into eastern Canada, eastern Ontario, rather. Overnight, Collingwood +2, feeling closer to -2 with the wind chill. So we've got temperatures above the freezing mark. So a change over to rain in some regions, but northern Ontario in the deep freeze, Dryden -45 with the wind chill. So on exposed skin, you can get frostbite within 10 minutes. Anything in green, you're changing over to rain tonight. That includes Toronto over towards Kingston. But if you're in Peterborough, for example, Ottawa, towards the eastern townships, Montreal, freezing rain for you in the pre-dawn hours. And that will be after a lot of snow. So it is messy out there. Anything in blue staying as snow, and that's right until Sunday morning. East of Thunder Bay, up to 15 centimeters in that snowfall warning there. Anything in pink, really 2 pink colors here. We've got this, which is your winter storm warnings, and then freezing rain in the darker pink. Barrie, Orangeville, St. Catharines included at this point, but note London's been dropped, so too is Toronto. And Cornwall and Ottawa, the reason you're in a winter storm warning is because you've got the snow, plus you have the freezing rain. So you've got a 2-pack punch tonight. For New Brunswick, Fredericton, Woodstock, freezing rain for you beginning overnight while you're sleeping. And for Quebec, we've got the winter storm warning as well. Montreal, it's freezing rain for you as well. So it's going to be a few hours of freezing rain for many people tonight. Could see some power outages in Atlantic Canada, particularly in New Brunswick, where we do have the biggest threat for the freezing rain and strong winds. For Nova Scotia, you're in the green. Halifax and Yarmouth, down towards that area is going to be a changeover from snow into rain. And that's a rainfall warning with up to 40 millimeters on the way. Anything in yellow are wind warnings. So Inverness County, gusts over 100 kilometers an hour tonight. And temperatures, well, with the wind chill, it feels like minus 17 in Halifax, minus 26 in St. John, just getting goosebumps looking at these temperatures. And how about the system as it tracks through? Well, for the overnight tonight in Toronto, we're going to be seeing that changeover to a much cooler air funneling into place by Monday. Sunday into Monday is when it tracks into Newfoundland. And then we're in the clear until another quick moving system brings snow to southern Ontario again as we head into your Tuesday. Well, coming up, we'll talk more about what's happening in Monday morning. Glad you could join us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic as we look at the radar in BC. The rain moving across Vancouver Island into Vancouver at this point, at least at the airport. But we're starting to see those blues popping up across the lower mainland, and that is indicative of some cold air funneling in, so some snow this evening. If you're going to be in Vancouver Island as well as across the lower mainland, we could get some snow. Now, for Metro Vancouver itself, 2 to 4 centimeters of snow plus some mixing, and then it's going to change over to rain tomorrow afternoon. But in Abbotsford, about 5 centimeters of snow followed by 40 millimeters of rain. And for Vancouver Island, anywhere marked in this pink and through the central part of the island could get a period of freezing rain as well. So it is messy for travel. Anything highlighted in purple, those are highway passes that could see the 25 centimeters of fresh snow tonight. And through to Sunday, the white zone, including Kelowna, is where we're getting the most snow. Now, good news is if you're in BC, we're going to start to see temperatures get back to seasonal on Monday. So as we head into the new work week, I know a lot of kids are heading back to school next week. Maybe you're headed back to work. That's when things are copacetic in BC. But we can't say the same for the rest of the country. For Alberta, we saw 9 centimeters of snow in Edmonton last night into today. Calgary, more snow for you. And across the Rockies, we're just getting some upsloping winds. That's what's causing the snow this evening. And generally speaking, it's about 5 to 10. Freezing rain warnings have been the problem in Ontario, though. Orangeville, Barrie, Guelph, St. Catharines. I mean, people are tweeting the messy pictures. They're saying it's a skating rink out there. And our very own Kasia Badurko was in Orangeville this evening. She has more. Thanks, Kasia. And you know what? I sometimes think that freezing rain is the most dangerous on the roads because a lot of times you don't see it when you're trying to stop. All of a sudden your car is swerving. So anything in pink is what the radar is picking up as freezing rain tonight. So Toronto out of it, but up towards Barrie. And then heading east is where we're in the line of fire next. So if you're in Cornwall, over towards Brockville, Kingston even, eventually it will reach Ottawa. But the problem for Pembroke and Ottawa is that first you've got about 15 centimeters of snow, and then you're going to be in the pink. So that's the freezing rain. Peterborough, Ottawa, over towards eastern townships, Montreal too. It is going to be very messy as you wake up Sunday morning. So lots of salt is needed for tomorrow's big cleanup. Anything in white, including cottage country, getting maybe 30 centimeters of snow by Sunday. And yes, the greater Toronto region could see snow again by tomorrow evening because we're going to see a wraparound of cooler air funneling in and some lake effect snow flurries. So a dramatic decrease in temperatures too. For the east, Quebec, blanketed in winter storm warnings and freezing rain in New Brunswick for Fredericton, as well as Woodstock tonight. So likely while you're sleeping, it's all going to happen. Let's take you to this image in the east. Overall, while you're sleeping tonight, this is starting as snow in through New Brunswick. But yes, Fredericton and Woodstock in the freezing rain. For Nova Scotia, starts as snow, but then it changes over to rain. And Halifax and Yarmouth are in a rainfall warning for up to 40 millimeters. As you can see, it is starting to just push slightly into New Brunswick at this point. Coming up, what a messy way to start the first weekend of a brand new year. Storm watch on the East Coast and the West Coast. Glad you could join us tonight. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. Looking at some of your tweets, we've pulled together some pictures, and as you can see here, the snow in the Toronto region started as snow, changed over to freezing rain, though, and we're seeing rain through the overnight, so very messy conditions there. And this, you can't really make it out. Why? Because this is the fog moving into Mississauga. Blair tweeted this to me. He said it's arrived in northwest Mississauga, and that's with the warm air coming in and clashing with that cold air. And for Ottawa, a look at some of the treacherous driving conditions. You can see just the the snow blanketing the ground. If you're in the Ottawa region tonight, guess what? You've got about 15 centimeters of fresh snow followed by freezing rain. So that's going to mean some treacherous driving conditions for you. And the Ontario Provincial Police tweeted this a little bit earlier today, but you get the sense of what's going on. Over 300 collisions on OPP GTA highways so far today. So do be careful if you're traveling tomorrow morning, because that's when we're going to be seeing the freezing rain on the ground. And as we head to this shot right here, we've got Mark Robinson, our very own storm hunter, who's headed to Vancouver. He was at Pearson Airport, had a little bit of a delay, but he said things were running smoothly after that, and he was headed to BC, and this is BC Yoho Park. Beautiful scene, but yes, it's going to be tricky traveling for you across the Lower Mainland. Let's head next to the city of Hamilton. So it is just a brief warm-up if you're getting one in Ontario. This is the big system. It's also impacting stateside. Also for Quebec, we've got freezing rain warnings in place for you, eastern townships, Montreal as well, and for Atlantic Canada, snow starting tonight, changing over to freezing rain. I know a lot is going on. For Sunday, it's going to be a messy mix for BC. We've got snow in the Lower Mainland tonight, including Vancouver, and then it's going to track in through the southern interior. And for the freezing rain warning still in effect, we've got Toronto out of it, but Guelph, you're still in it. Barrie is as well. Winter storm warnings are in play from Smith Falls over to Cornwall and Ottawa, and that's because you're seeing freezing rain plus snow, so you're getting a little bit of everything. This is the radar returns. Notice the pink popping up. That is the freezing rain that is shifting towards Cornwall, Brockville. Eventually it will reach Ottawa and Pembroke, but we still have that snow blanketing parts of cottage country, Owen Sound, Parry Sound, Barrie as well. And you can see it even on this radar right here, which is a zoomed out look. For BC already, I've seen the reports of rain already at Vancouver Airport. That will change over to snow tonight. And speaking of the changeover, here's the green where we're seeing the changeover to rain. But if you're in the pink, so Kawartha Lakes, Peterborough, Eastern Townships, that will be the freezing rain for you this evening and overnight. And the snowfall, if you're going to be in Parry Sound, Ottawa to Montreal, 10 to 20 centimeters on the ground by Sunday night. And yes, we even have parts of the Golden Horseshoe like Toronto included in seeing snow tomorrow, because as we get the wraparound effect, even some lake effect setting up for tomorrow, it will be another round of snow. It is a very busy 2015 already weather-wise. And these are our freezing rain warnings. And note, New Brunswick, Fredericton, Woodstock, you're included in that. Let's head to this shot right here. This is in the city of Moncton, where on Saturday, dry. But that is going to change for tonight, and then that will change over to rain if you're in Nova Scotia, because you are in a rainfall warning. Yarmouth over towards Halifax, 40 millimeters potentially, but freezing rain is the story. Fredericton north to Woodstock, that could be about 5 to 15 millimeters of ice accretion, so we could see some power outages with this in the east, and wind warnings as well for Inverness County and the western shores of Newfoundland, gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour. So notice it hasn't quite moved into New Brunswick at this point, but it's certainly wreaking havoc in parts of Quebec already. And this is the snowfall forecast for you into Monday. 10 to 20 centimeters of snow, followed by rain in the east. Coming up, we'll have more details on what's happening for you in Western Canada with watches and warnings.